when your 10 minutes are over, so that we can save on time,
Okay.
so that everybody can be able to present in this duration of time that we have. Yeah, so
Okay.
Go ahead, Walter.
So I did both questions. I did the EDA questions and the visualization questions. So for the EDA questions, which are 9 in number, I imported my libraries. Then after importing my libraries, I imported my data set, and I took a sample of the data set just to see how my data set looks like. Then I proceeded to check my if my data is duplicated. Then I proceeded to check if it has null values, and I found that it has some huge null values, especially on the tags feature. Uh, the null values are so big. So I proceeded to check the shape of my data. Then I went ahead and subsetted for Uganda. Then from there, after subsetting for Uganda, I checked my data and I checked the shape of the data just to see how many rows it has. And I proceeded to do the same thing that I did, checking if it has if the null values are reduced. Then I dropped the tags feature because we didn't need to use it. Then from there, I loaded my questions. Then I started answering my questions. So which country got the most loans? And does the number of times a country is referenced to relate to the quantity of loans it got? So for the countries that got the most loans, I did not use my Uganda data because the question asked for the country. So I did for the whole general. Um, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, come.
Okay. So I did for the whole general Kiva data to find the country that had most loans, and I found that it was Philippines that had most loans. So I grouped my data by country, then loan amount, then I did the sum and sorting of the values, then resetting the index, and I took only the 10 because I wanted to see the top 10. So I proceeded ahead and I used Plotly to plot the graph. And here is my graph, my country with most loan amounts. And as you can see, Philippines with a loan amount of 55,324,225, and proceeding like that until my country, Uganda. So for the next question, it asks that the number of time a country is referenced to relate to the quantity of loans it got. So I went ahead and I did the value counts. Yeah, I went ahead and I did the value counts for the whole data again, the Kiva questions. Then from value counts, we can see, yeah, we can see that United States comes in third. United States comes in third, where comes in third with the highest, with the most loan amounts, but with the number of countries with most loan with the number of most loan amounts, we see El Salvador actually has more number of loans than United States. So I went ahead and said uh, they don't relate actually, but for the most part we can find that Philippines and Kenya actually related. But also when you look at here, we have Cambodia, Pakistan, Peru, and Colombia. Yeah, so we can see some values are being some countries are exchanging positions. So so I went ahead and wrote this markdown and said no, we see no the number of times a country is referenced to does not necessarily mean it has the most number of loans. So moving forward to question 2, what sector got the most loans? So for sector, I did the group by on my countries, now Uganda, now because I was subsetting for Uganda. So in Uganda we see that food and food, no, agriculture, food and retail are the topping sectors with most loan amounts in Uganda. So for the second part of the question, does the number of times the sector is referenced to relate to the quantity of loans it got? So I went ahead and did the same thing. I did the value counts and I used Plotly to plot it. And we found that food actually is now topping, while here agriculture was topping. Then when you look at the last bit, we have construction, personal use, and transportation. Um, we have health coming in at the last part here, and here it's construction. So here, uh, so I wrote a markdown that the number of times the sector reference does not relate with the quantity of loans with the quantity does not correlate with the quantity it got. This is because sector, we observe that agriculture and food have switched position. Then we have personal use displacing construction, in turn, which makes construction to displace health. So the number of times sector's reference does not relate to the number of times it took loans. So I went ahead for question 3. For the top sector, which activity had the highest amount of loan? What does that say about that activity? So for question 3, I did group by activity, then loan amounts. Then I used Plotly to plot it, and we can see farming, and you can see that farming actually is topping the list in Uganda. So farming, education, provider, and general store are high in consuming loan amount activities. So actually, I did a conclusion of the whole data here, where well, yeah, farming, education, and providers and general store are activities with high loan amounts in Uganda. This tells us that Uganda has been investing in the manufacturing side of the economy a lot, with the retail sector accounting for the general stores activity, both agriculture and food sector accounting for farming activities. So for the most bit, I just show my visualization data because of time. Then I'll share the conclusion.
Okay.
So moving to question 4, which region had the highest loan amounts? I did group by I group my regions. Yeah, I group my Uganda data by regions. Then we can see that Kasese, Port Portal, and Kampala are the one topping the list. With most loan amounts. So for question 5, what was the difference in time distribution and posted time of the loans? How does that compare to the repayment interval for various loans? So here, because the question was asking the difference. So I did subtract a posted time from distributed time to see the number of days. Yeah, here's my difference column. As you can see, now I have values that I can use to plot it. Then from there, I went ahead and created some new variables so that it can, the year, the month, and the weekday name. So as you can see here, I have the year, the month, and the weekday's name: Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. So I went ahead and used Seaborn to plot my time series analysis, just to check the distribution time of the post of the difference in distribution time on the post and the posted time of the loans. So this is my little time series analysis that I tried to plot. Then I went ahead to check um, How does that compare to the repayment interval for the various loan? So on that part, actually, I did something here. I did some calculation here, and I said 64% of the loans were paid on monthly basis, 35% on regular basis, and 1% on a short period. So the short period was for the ones that were bullet. So what does the repayment interval look like for various loan amounts in various sectors, in various activities? So here again, I did plot my repayment interval with loan amount so that it can be seen visually. Then I went ahead for this part in various sectors and in various activities. So I tried to combine the both of the data so that it can come like time analysis series. But this is the data that I was able to come up with. The red line is for loan amount, and the green one is for repayment interval. As you can see, the axes have changed here. We have irregular, monthly, and bullet.
Mhm.
Then question 7: what were the numbers? What were the numbers between male and female recipient? Does that communicate anything? So here I created a function so that I could change the values for the gender lead. Then after that, uh, I did uh, I did value.counts to sum up the how many males were there in my Uganda data and females. So from there, I did plot it with Seaborn so that I can see so that I can have it visually. And question 8: sectors with what sector in Uganda got the highest loans? So here I used the funded amount uh, to check the sectors that had the highest loans in Uganda, and food agriculture came first and food came second. And for the regions that got highest loan amounts, we see Port Portal came first and Kasese came second. So I went ahead for the conclusion of all. Here's my conclusion of all the 87 countries. Of all the 87 countries, Uganda is coming in the 10th number amongst the countries with most loans amount. Agriculture, food, and retail are the leading sectors in Uganda with most loans amount. Education comes in fourth. Education comes in fourth. Then my third point is farming education. Farming education providers and general stores are the activities with high loan amounts in Uganda. So I went ahead and explained this my third statement and said this tells us that Uganda has been investing in manufacturing side of the economy a lot, with the retail sector accounting for the general stores activity, both agriculture and food sector accounting for farming activities. Then my fourth point, with Kasese topping the list, then followed keenly by Port Portal, Kampala, and Kamwenge. These regions are the ones with the highest loan amounts. So I went ahead and explained it that this tells us that the four regions are the major economical regions in Uganda, and since there is more activities going on within the region due to the presence of finances which boost the presence, which boost the respective sectors and activities. Then my fifth point, my fifth point, there is no big difference between the distribution time and the posted time of the loan amount as we see on the graph for question 5. However, there is a difference in the repayment interval of the loans. Then I went ahead and said Uganda tend to service most of their loans on a monthly basis. Then my sixth, I don't know which point is this. Then this point, the number between male and female recipients. For this is for the males and this is for the female recipients. This tells that a male person in Uganda has a probability of 0.538 of taking a loan, while a female's probability is 0.46. So actually, how I arrived to these probabilities, I summed up these both numbers. Then I took the one for the male, this which is 11,077 over 11,077 plus over the total number of the genders. So that's how I came up with these probabilities. Then my last point, the sector with the highest loans in Uganda is agriculture, while the region with the highest loans in Uganda is Port Portal. This hints us that Port Portal could be a highland region in Uganda, and the main economic region that the country depends on in terms of agriculture. So this conclusion actually is based on the data that I have. So I don't know if actually that's what's happening in Uganda, but this is what the data could tell me.
Okay. Yeah. That's a really nice presentation.
Because of time, I don't think if I'll be able to take you through this second part of the question, of the visualization.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Whatever we have is enough. This is really nice. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we can have someone else sharing.